Evening, everyone. Evening to episode 11, I think it is now, of the AGN podcast with the math nut. Andy is awaiting patiently. Hopefully this week all of the tech works as it should do. Done a little test. Hopefully we can hear everyone. Because last week's was a bit of well, I was going to use a word, a poo show, we'll call it. So we have the chat going. I will try and make that a tad larger because my failing eyes struggle to see it. Right, I think it's time we can introduce Andy. Hopefully you can see him and hopefully you can hear him. Hello.
No, they'd rather not.
There we go. We have, I think, good. I can hear him in my ear anyway. If not, I'll have to just translate. Right, so we have, I'll move the old chat up here so I can see Pete. Hello, Pete. Hope you are well. Good evening. Been AWOL for a couple of weeks due to work and a father with dementia. Oh, okay, dementia. All the best, Pete, on that one. That must be very tricky and difficult time on that one. Buck05, Buck, great name. Have you heard any rumours to changes being introduced to the T series or I240 irons, loft change, etc.? So the images for the new T series have been popping out a little bit from tour mainly. I240 is a completely different thing. They have, well, Andy, I don't know if you probably keep a better view of the internet than me when it comes to day-to-day releases of certain leaks, etc. Now, I've seen the T series, the new T series, and they look, shall we say, fairly similar to the old one, but the new Ping, I think you would agree, is slightly different.
Just a little.
Slightly.
Yeah. I mean, if that's the successor to the I230, I don't, it's almost like it's a completely different club. It's closer to the G series than the I series has ever been.
I'm struggling with it a little bit because I saw it was on Discord.
I mean, the main post online that I saw when they said here are the pictures of the I240, they called it a memorial post. So I think that sums up the general feelings of how they look.
Yeah, they do. It's a distinct difference in looks between the I230 and then the I240. Now, the I210, even the I200, I210 and I230, you could see the transition of how they were changing the design, but they're tweaking things. It's not like a whoa. This one is a whoa.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's weird because the I230 really is, supposed to separate itself from the G series, by quite a bit. Mm-hmm. I mean, like there isn't that. I mean, the blueprints are the next step up from the I's, but the I230 was kind of like their main better players club. So
I'm kind of hoping that they haven't changed the design. Aesthetics, we know they've changed, but if they've changed how it works, I will cry.
It's a completely different shape. It's completely different materials. It has to work completely different. Like there's no way it could be even close. I mean, they could make it close through engineering, but it's not fundamentally by itself.
Brian says, "Don't get old. It's overrated."
Yeah.
I've just celebrated my birthday. I didn't celebrate it. If you call spending 16 hours editing celebration. And I did actually. I spent 16 hours of my birthday editing.
I guess it depends what you were editing.
Yeah, no, unfortunately it was the Titleist stuff. And so I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning. And so I thought, well, I'm awake. So I went off to work, I did, and then spent the next 16 hours, give or take, editing. Just to give everyone the content that they love. Right. Buck says, new i240 looks a lot more like a game improvement iron. Yeah, strikes me as such a downgrade from i230 or i210. From an aesthetics point of view, I'd absolutely agree. And if that's the case, then get your i230s in quick while they're still in stock. When I say in stock, they're Ping. So even if the i240 will come out, which it will do in August, September or so, and the i230 will still be available. I'd be very surprised if they knock it on the head. Ping are one of the very few manufacturers that still create and make actively the old golf clubs, where most manufacturers, they kill them off. So if you break your 7-iron, break your 8-iron, lose your 4-iron, lose your 5-iron, whatever it be, someone steals half your set, good luck. You have to get a new set of golf clubs. With Ping, you can, as long as you've got one of them, you've got your little serial number on the hosel. That's all you need, and you can get replacements made. Very good from a manufacturer. Can't be very cost effective though, I must admit, but there we go. Evening, Niels. Hope you are well. Evening all. Look forward to the daft segment. Yes. I'm not quite sure if I'm allowed to say it. I think as long as I say it and don't say it again, YouTube won't moan at me. I was going to name that section, rather than daft comment of the week, I was going to say dickhead of the week, because we have had some interesting ones this week. Yeah, there's been a couple that I actually have just deleted because they were bordering on the lines of just insulting and rude, etc. I don't mind people putting stuff up. It's fine. At the end of the day, I don't see that every single person that watches the content is going to like it. It's fine. If people have got constructive feedback, absolutely fine. People being a div of the week, we'll call it div of the week. Brian says, I know... Blankety blank. Brian says, I know shafts are super subjective. They are. But have you thought of starting to put together a shaft matrix? No, because many people have already done it. The main thing is understanding how that shaft matrix pertains to you and how you react to it more than what the manufacturers say that a golf shaft will do. Andy, you know more about when it comes to the nuances of, well, I can tell you bend profiles from the Mizuno side of things, but you've done far more in-depth analysis than me.
Yeah, testing shafts has been around for a while. Like, testing the physical properties of the shaft is pretty straightforward. It's just a weight and measure how far it bends, and you move the weight up and down it, so on and so forth. The problem isn't measuring the shaft. It's how that shaft works in people's hands. There's no correlation between what you think that shaft will do and what it ends up actually doing in people's hands. So even if you built there's plenty of places where you can get like shaft profiles online. There's a couple of places where you can pay for them and get all the shaft profiles, but it doesn't tell you anything. Like, you can't go shopping for that. Oh, that's my profile there, I'll swing that one really good. Like, the Mizuno tool tries to do it, but the way it does that is by having millions of people swings in its whatever profile thing they use to kind of guide it.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you there's as many people, this normal distribution curve. Okay, so this shaft's probably going to fit you, but I bet there's like a standard deviation of people it doesn't fit, even though it's supposed to. So
yeah, I mean, I suppose the swing optimizer, when that was first made, they just got basically lots of data, and then the trick is then apportioning the data, the numbers which they're getting out from the shaft, to what then that means from a profile point of view to a shaft. And then once they've got that correlation there, then that's much easier. Then you say, okay, individual swings like this, they bend the shaft in this certain way, then they would potentially suit this kind of EI curve bend profile. But that's not a given. That is just a base point. That is a starting point, but it is a much better starting point than bumper car fitting. But
yeah, no, totally. I mean, but at the end of the day, is all it does is a guide, right? It's not that you can't like look at a chart online and then go to the website, buy it, and then expect it to work. That would never work. Even with a starting point, you still have to test it within your own abilities. So.
Yep, and that's the
You know,
thing. That's why it's difficult to buy golf clubs online. I mean, it's one thing having a punt on eBay or anything such as that on the basis of, if it's so cheap, why not? Give it a go. You can buy it. You worst case scenario, you don't like it, you can sell it again. And I know loads of people over the years that just love tinkering. They love buying new stuff, or new to them at least, and they'll play with it. And whether they love it or hate it, they'll turn it around in the next 6 months anyway. So, but yeah, if you're serious about your golf and you want to get fit, you want to get at least fit for your golf clubs, okay, learn online about shafts and bend profiles, how they potentially suit different people, maybe. But again, it is marketing, and the whole idea of manufacturers marketing in certain ways to justify the amount of product that they've got available to sell. If there was only one shaft, everyone would have one shaft, but there you go. Right, let's have a little look at the agenda every week. Every week. Right, so just in case people didn't know, so the gold access, so from the website www.askgolfnut.com, all the gold members get early access to anything that is put on, and that includes all the Titleist stuff. So we are currently are we 2 videos deep? We are now. We are 2 videos deep into Titleist, with the T150 coming tomorrow.
tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was about to say 3, but then I realized that one's not out yet.
Yeah, I've still got to do a thumbnail on that one, but that's fine. That's no worries. So we are effectively 2 deep, with the 3rd one coming out tomorrow, and then that's T150. T200 is then coming out on Thursday. The T350, I still don't understand why they do a jump. Why does it go T100, T150, T200? I don't know, anyway, comment below. And then go T400. So the T350 will be the Sunday, and then the T400 will be the following Tuesday. My plan is actually to do a compare all video on the Thursday to cap the whole Titleist line off with, effectively, this is the range. This is what this will suit golfer wise if you're someone who hits out the heel, low, toe, whatever it be. That's the plan going forward for the last one. Titleist is on the imperial system, not metric. What does it mean? Sole thickness, something to do with that? But it can't be. T100, I mean, it's not 10 millimeters or something like that, is it? So, but the T400 is a big golf club. That is a big golf club.
I can only assume what happens is they make more than they ever release, so they might do 100 through 400, and there's a 50 and they decide, okay, that one's not going to work, and then they just don't release it, so it ends up.
Well, this is the whole thing with Ping, and Ping have their interesting releases of, you think the naming convention is going to go a certain way, and then suddenly it goes off that direction. But then all manufacturers do it. I mean, TaylorMade don't stay with one naming convention with their woods for year to year. You'll get maximum probably 2 lots out of it before they'll change it completely. Callaway change it every single time. I don't know, what's the next driver going to be called? Monolith.
Yeah,
there you go.
But I mean, when you're using words, you expect the words to change for the most part. But when you use a numerical designator, you'd think there'd be some sort of logic to it. But
yep, no, on that one. So I don't know still. So on that one, yeah, we'll go with. But the interesting thing, from my point of view, guys, going to sort of really the second thing on the agenda. So the gold members get early access to everything. By the way, for the gold members today, I kind of done myself a bit of an injustice here, because I had one video comment basically saying, have we ever done any data for the Mizuno MP20, the old one, the blade, from back in 2019 or so? And it was like, well, obviously they're my old gaming clubs, but no, I don't think I've ever specifically done a data set for them, especially not in the current format of what we do. And so I joked, I said, well, all the stuff that we have is on the website, so if you become a gold member, I'll do you a data set. Yeah, he became a gold member, didn't he? I'm thinking, crap, I've got to do that now. So for anyone who's gold on the website, it's disabled for everyone else at the moment. It's literally just put up today. But the gold guys can search on heat maps and radar charts, etc., and see how the old MP20 does. Hint, not very well. Quite poor,
interesting
actually.
club.
Very interesting club. Personally, I love it because I'm trying to distinctly hit the middle because it's a blade and it feels lovely when you hit out the middle. So every single thing I'm trying to do when I'm hitting it properly is hit out the middle. And it is one of those golf clubs that you really do need to hit out the middle. But there you go. So thank you to everybody that is a gold member on the website. Appreciate it. Right, so we'll expand on what I've just said. And we won't give too much away, Andy, if we can, because I know it's tempting. But Titleist, without giving too much away, Titleist have an interesting range in their T series, ranging from effectively a blade, the T100, all the way through to the finest battering ram money could buy.
Fully metal hybrid.
It is massive. It is big, and it's strong. 26 degrees for a 7-iron, regardless, I'm thinking, of the launch factor. That is a strong 7-iron. There's not many golf clubs, is it? Is there only like 6, 5? Is it 6 golf clubs in the set? Is it 5? Yeah, 5, 6. Do they make a gap wedge? I can't even remember now, but I know 5-iron is the strongest iron, hybrid iron, is a flat face, so it has to be an iron, that they do. Wow, that's a strong.
Surprising. I mean, like, you can't go, what is a 5? Like, the 6 is 26, the 4 is 22, and the 5 is 19?
No, so on the 400, the 7 is 26.
Oh, yeah, 26, 23, 20. And it stops at a 5.
Stops at a 5. Because
they have 3 wedge. They have pitching wedge, gap wedge, approach wedge, and another wedge. They have 3 wedges after the P. So the P is 38, 43, 49, 55.
You'd get confused. How do they actually name those? P1, P2, P3, P4.
P, W, W2, and W3.
Oh my lord. Right, okay, fair enough. That's one way of doing it. Yeah, so people are going to turn around and say, okay, yeah, fair enough then. All you're doing is effectively shifting everything across, and you might as well call the 7-iron a 5-iron. And I can see the logic with that, I can. However, it's not, because if you compare that to my 5-iron blade, it performs better. It's 1 degree stronger anyway, but it outclasses that, out hits it from a launch factor point of view, out carries it, out ball speeds it, out everything's it, and in a 7-iron shaft where my 5-iron is 1 inch longer. That's the benefit you get from these super duper cranked irons.
I like
Go on, Andy. Irons. You have your you have your opinion on it.
No, I think we covered. I mean, we did this because the comment of the week last week complained about the 5-iron shafts. I think it said most of what I was going to say. It's just that, yeah, the hate towards strong irons is totally unjustified. Like, there's a time and a place for strong irons, just like there is for weak irons. No difference. No difference whatsoever.
What I like with weak irons, and this is my only query about the concept of me potentially going 3DP for a set of irons, as in me playing 3DP, is the loft gaps and the crankness compared to what I've always been used to. I have always been used to traditional lofts with traditional loft gaps, tiny relatively, and so the distance between one and the other is very within reason, small. I don't like 5-degree gaps because that means there's a bigger distance between one golf club and the next. And I don't like that. I'd rather have more bunched because generally speaking, I'm fairly decent enough at striking, so I don't get blurring between. And I want a finite control over distance. That's the only thing that bothers me. Not a problem whatsoever, the slow swing speeds, because the slower swing speeds anyway, you need the bigger loft gaps, because if not, there'll be 3 yards of gapping between each club. Different people are different.
What is interesting to me is that, so we're taught, right, at the pro level to shaft lean, right? That the shaft lean to compress the ball. But, we know that compression is totally irrelevant. It's the fact that you're just de-lofting the club down to a lower lofting. Yeah, clubs down.
Two strikes for the C word.
Oh. Anyway, so you just, if you look at the pro launch values, right? So they're launching their 7 irons according to the published averages, which don't get me started on the published averages. 18 to 16 degrees. Now, if you do the math, how to get a 34-degree club down to launching at 16 degrees, you basically have to shaft lean it 10 degrees. But so you're just shaft leaning that club 2 degrees, two clubs stronger. Wouldn't it just? It'd be functionally easier to make your club 1 club stronger, and only have to shaft lean it. Because shaft leaning in itself doesn't do anything for you. It other than changing the loft of the face. Now AOA, you want the AOA because that gives you spin loft, and spin loft gives you accuracy. But their AOA is off, according to the average, is 5 degrees, and their shaft lean is 10 degrees. So
there's too much discrepancies. There's way too many discrepancies in that TrackMan data. I have
but my point
looked
is
at
that,
it, and I've tried to do it. You can't do it. I've tried to hit the shots that they hit in trying to replicate the data which they can create. I can't do it. There is not even close. It's not like it's I just don't swing it fast enough or anything else like that. It's just there is not a way that you can get the numbers which are being chucked out by the TrackMan averages, and this is the problem with averages because you get like a huge array of different people doing different things. They just don't work, and I just don't get it. I really don't get it. But there you go.
The spin is the one that gets me. It's not because we're talking about them de-lofting to get down to 16 degrees of launch. You can't then generate 7,000 spin when you've de-lofted it 10 degrees. You have
to have an angle attack of like minus 50.
Yeah, or a face spin rate of like 180, which we've measured 1,000 times, and clubs aren't even getting close to 180. They're barely most clubs don't break 100. So like it doesn't make sense. You can't make their numbers work. But my point is, if you're shaft leaning that much, why not just have stronger lofts? You get the same result with less having to do all those crazy angles with your arms. So.
That's a lot of flexion going into impact. Joachim Christofferson says, ordered the Cobra 3DP Tour last week. Your video and a demo day at my golf club was enough. Seller was a really good Swedish Tour golfer. Got me into the recoil dart stiff graphite shafts. Your data is thumbs up. It's been proven now, I don't know how many times, to be irritatingly correct or irritatingly extremely close. The amount of times, I mean, I was even doing that with the video that I was doing today, and I can't remember if I think it was a T350 video. And there was a couple of mishits I actually hit when I'm hitting stuff on camera. Again, it's live. Well, it's not, it's recorded, but it's recorded live as such. So I don't hit the middle every single time. People have seen my videos. I'm generally pretty okay, but sometimes there's this weird and wonderful wacko one that comes in. And I hit a shot there, and I remember the efficiency dropped quite a bit, and I made a remark on it. And I was actually then looking at the heat map grid that we've done, and then I'm tracing it on the actual screen. So that's 6 mil toe, 8 mil low. Okay, so I'm losing 3% on there. Okay, so what was the difference between that swing and that swing? Okay, I was half a mile an hour faster. That's about a yard or so, whatever it is. Make that on there. And then 3% off take, and it's within half a yard or to a yard exactly right. And bear in mind, those 3% are rounded full numbers. They could have been 3.5 or 3.4%. Yeah, I mean, it's very, very good. But there you go. Right, so Joachim is on a wallet diet for the next however long, because dependent on what those shafts cost as well. I don't know if they are non-upchargeable. They are. That's handy.
But still, a very good Rico Dot's very good.
They're good. No, yeah, I mean, I've fit them quite a few times, and they're very, very good shaft. Brian Anderson says the butter knives didn't go well on forgiveness. Shocker. No. I still love them. Chrome. Adam, hello. Hope you're well. You weren't kidding about the DS Adapt Max K. Put a Ventus Velocity Blue X into it, and it's crazy forgiving. It is. At the moment, if I had to pick 3 off the top of my head really very quickly for the best drivers, this is not an official one. This is what pops in my head. And Andy, you know the data better than I do in that sense, so you'll be able to say, Jay, you're missing one. I would say ST230 Max. I'd say the PXG Black Ops Standard, not the Tour. And I would say the Max K. How would I say? It feels they're the ones I'd want them in my hands if I am looking to hit target. But
I think as we get more into the driver stuff in the future is to look at drivers less from just forgiveness, right? A lot of drivers are very similar in terms of the distance factor maps, but a lot of them are less, and I think this is going to be the word moving forward, stable. When, it's not about distance, as much as it is dispersion. The distances, there are some distance gaps in some of them, but the ones that are at the top, you could have a very good efficiency or distance factor map, but then you look at the displacement from those mishits, and some of them are just horrifying.
Yeah, because you can do the adjustments, can't you? Because you can do the face of path adjustments, etc., to say that okay, you hit it out the heel, you're 18 millimeters heel, 0 mil in the center, so fair enough. But your face was open by 2 degrees, so if it was closed or 0 to path, and then you can make the adjustment to see what the offline would have been on that one. And some of them are just whoa.
Yeah. So stability. I'm starting to realize how much stability is more of a factor than just ball speed retention, even.
Yeah, well, that's why we stopped doing the. We haven't stopped doing it. We always report on the efficiency maps because, obviously, from a manufacturer's point of view, they love the efficiency maps because that is how they market and sell their drivers, based effectively on efficiency maps. They're trying to explain and trying to coerce the buying public into thinking that their driver keeps more ball speed than any other driver, and some drivers do much better than others. Absolutely true. But it's not until you look at the distance factor map when you don't take the efficiency, because efficiency is a very, very phantom figure. It doesn't tell you the story, not even the whole story. It doesn't tell you even part of the story. The main thing is how it delivers dynamic of flight. Far more important than just raw retention of ball speed, because we're talking about curved faces. But you are right, going forward, not only the distance factor, but it is going to be how stable is that driver, how much of a propensity does that driver have to want to have a very interesting amount of tilt axis every single time you move across the face. Does it want to stay stable and go basically gear to target, or does it want to just shoot it off into every single different direction?
Yeah.
Right. So Adam says now I'm looking for hybrids and leaning toward the G440. A good hybrid. They've changed the profile of the G440 this year, I believe. I always get mixed up between this one, which way round it is, because they've gone one way on the fairway woods, one way on the hybrids. I want to say they've got smaller height-wise. I think they went taller on the fairway woods and smaller on the hybrids. I always get that one mixed up, so I'm having to think about I just said I wanted to say that, so I'll say the opposite. No, I'm pretty certain, because Ping have always been very, very good with their fairway woods for making something very shallow. The sole plate was very, very flat, and so they didn't really have a very tall face. It allowed them to keep the center of gravity low, and it was an amazing golf club to hit off of different lies. Different fairway woods with, say, with a bold sole and a flat sole play better off different lies. But again, they're very, very good. I think I did the video. I think I did the video of the G440 hybrid, and what Brian says, 2 ones down. G440 forward is pretty easy. Loft is your friend. It's really good. The forward max is a brilliant golf club. 3-wood shaft, forward loft. I quite like it.
Yeah. I mean, I think when I noticed when we were doing the hybrids for the G440s that the face height was pretty low, but it actually had a almost like driver curve to the back, which you don't see on a lot of hybrids. A lot of hybrids are fairly square topped, and this one has a little bit of a crown to it, a curve on the top.
Yeah.
So it's taller overall. The club's taller than the face is, but still that the face height is the critical part, not how high the club is in the back.
What have we got now? Adam says, my biggest problem is I can't hit woods off the deck, but do well with hybrids. Tempted to add a 13.5 mini
Dum, dum, dum.
and a 2 hybrid and skip the woods.
2 hybrid.
Now, back in the day, I had, and I haven't got it. I gave, when I say I gave it, I give it to someone in the end. He wanted it, he loved it, and so I basically give it to him in the end. I had a tailor-made Tour Preferred mid 2 hybrid, 14 degrees, and
14.
by God, that thing was knee-high to a grasshopper, and that thing would absolutely rock it. I mean, you could hear that fizz through the air. It was just
the thing about
mental.
a hybrid is you still have quite high head weights, so you put the higher head weight of a hybrid in 14 degrees, and that's a damn high smash factor. That's like...
Oh, it was driver. Near enough like driver. And it was just ridiculous. That thing. Crazy ball speeds. And it was just bullet. And it didn't have the CGs. It wasn't like they're trying to ram the center of gravity really low in those things. It was a really relatively small hybrid, and it was just like a rocket. Really difficult to, let's say difficult to hit, difficult to keep on the planet. If you were to miss it a little bit, it really wanted to gear something chronic.
You got to have some club head speed to get that to function, though.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
Yeah.
I wouldn't play it. It was not nowadays. I mean, when I was young and I didn't understand what I know now and stuff, of course, it's fun hitting everything about the same height as 17 people down the fairway could all jump in unison and then jump over the golf ball's flight. But in reality, it's not the best way. So let's very quickly get on to topic 3, and then I'll just sort of make sure, Andy, that I don't miss any of the questions, because I'm like, yeah. Okay, we'll go Tyson in a second. So very quickly, Oakmont is upon us. I have seen some footage of the course. Very interesting how they've set it up. They have basically absolutely stripped the golf course of its character, personally. They've done a lot of work there, yes they have, but I think they've stripped it of its character. And also, when it comes to the rough, if anybody has seen the rough at Oakmont, holy sugar plums, it is wow. I could see people losing their ball literally within inches of running off the fairway or bounding through the fairway and into what is the cabbage can only be described as. It is so dense. It's not massively tall. It must be like that, which is...
That's pretty tall for just off the fairway.
Let's call it 6 inches. No jokes. Let's call it 6 inches. and jumping 3 inches, 4 inches from the fairway into that kind of like that first little cut, fringy cut of rough, jump straight into this. It's a perfect edge, and it's horrific. I have never seen rough. Well, I have to go back a long way to think about rough that was that penal. And is it? Do you want to see that, Andy, when you're watching TV? Well, no, you don't watch the golf that much, but I wouldn't want to play in that. No way.
It doesn't make me. I don't see how it is any, and it could possibly be good for the tournament. Like if it's so punishing from just a fraction off the fairway, like it doesn't make any sense. And I also look at it as from a standpoint that if that was any course that at any normal person was playing, and they didn't have the spotter there, and they were going to lose balls on every hole that didn't hit the fairway, that would be considered unplayable, and they wouldn't be allowed to keep it like that for long. Well, they wouldn't be able to keep it like that for long because people wouldn't play there, and therefore, that's not a valid course. Like if you can't play there, then it's not a valid course.
It's crazy. It is properly. I mean, I don't see that as fun. I cannot understand. Yes, you could argue, okay, they're the top echelon, they're the prestigious, they're the best, they're the elite, they should be able to play, navigate themselves around the golf course. But the problem is they have now made Oakmont so long as well. It is long, like ridiculously long, and they've got that rough there. And I could honestly see some horrific scores out there. Now, I'll do a shout out. I think Tyler Weaver, who's a local, was junior when I remember him back in the day, but he's now playing as an amateur. I think he's qualified, so he will be playing in Oakmont. So I will be keeping an eye on him. That is for certain. But it's punishing. Like really, really is punishing.
I mean, it's television golf, isn't it? Like that's what they're trying to put together. Is oh my God, we're coming. It's like the last 6 holes, and he's got a 3-shot lead. Nobody, on a normal course, chances of somebody catching him are slim. Let's say, with a lead, and he'd have to screw up a lot. But now you put that kind of rough in place, and 3 shots can come out of nowhere.
They can do. Okay, Andy, put your guess now. What will be the winning score?
How many rounds are we playing?
4.
Don't have to give me. I don't watch.
It's been a while.
I don't watch. Yeah, I don't watch. I can't watch a full tournament of golf. I'd be like.
No.
It's been like no.
What? You can't be that unproductive.
No.
So for 4 rounds, what do you think the winning score will be?
36. Over.
Right, I'm going to say something sensible. I think the winning score will be +1.
Really? Wow.
Eero saying winner at +4. Oh, Niels has got in there from -2. That is a brave man. That is someone who's going to be hitting literally tee, fairway, green, and just par the crap out the course, because anyone goes in that rough and they are hacking that thing out with the sharpest. I could honestly see these golfers sharpening up their leading edges to try and get through the rough as best they can do, because it is shocking. We're going for so the best one at the moment is Niels at -2. Eero's going for +4. I'm going for +1, and Andy, do you want to have a proper guess, or?
There's no point.
My word. Scotty at -3, so not only have we got the -3.
Score and player.
Score
and player.
Well done. Go for it, Tyson. I like it. That's brave. Yeah. Wow, -3 around that track.
It's if the pros can't break par, right? Over 4 rounds, that's not a realistic golf course.
No, especially when you're talking about these are the elite, best in the world. So, but it's always been the mantra, hasn't it, of the US Open. They don't want the tournament to be won by exciting birdies and eagles. They want the overriding factor of a US Open to be depression, to be golfers losing their cool. And yeah, I don't know. Bogey Golfer says P770, P790 for a 90-mile-an-hour swing speed. What would you say?
Well, you missed Tyson's question first.
Crap, which one was? No, where did I go? How far back have I got? Oh, crap, well done, yeah. Tyson said, I got fitted for a couple of days ago and I'm trying to decide between TaylorMade P7CB and Mizuno Pro S3. Numbers are splitting hairs and I love the look and feel of both. Which would you go with and why?
You're going to take the S3 all day long. Let me look at the orange.
I prefer the do you know what? Because the P7 CB is a little bit shinier, aesthetics-wise.
Wow.
My issue with the Pro line, anyway, is the fact I want my chrome back. I just like my chrome, and they keep on taking it away. And so, what do I like? The looks between them are so close between. I mean, they're both very, very nice looking up. Very nice looking eyes.
I think it'd come down to what your swing speed is, but I would almost certainly take the S3.
Well, it's got a very, very, very good heel forgiveness.
Yeah, but it's pretty good. I mean, it's about average toe and low too, whereas the 7CB is just gets punished low.
Yeah, true. I think on balance.
Yeah, low launch factor and weak off the low, that would kill me. I couldn't play that. I catch the low more than anywhere else. That would kill me. I'd have to take the S3.
It depends on your strike position, because as we're talking, you can hear that there are benefits one to the other. Depends on your shaft requirements as well. I mean, the great thing with Mizuno, they do offer a barrage of free non-upcharge shaft choices. So if you can't find a shaft within Mizuno's, you definitely won't find it in TaylorMade. So feel-wise, that's really difficult because the CB does feel quite good. It does feel quite good. There's not much in it, I'll be honest. The Pro S3 has got the copper underlay and it is fully 1025E. If you gave me both sets, or one of the sets, whichever one it would be, I wouldn't be upset. They've got the lofts where I want them. Both the P7CB and the Pro S3 are sensible in their loftings, for me personally, with sensible loft gaps as well. So I could play either or. But there you go. Brian says the MPS3 is a beautiful golf club. I think it's fine. I love the looks from very thin top lines, very thin soles and stuff like that. I just want it chrome.
And it's definitely not the MPS3. It's just yes.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's Mizuno Pro. Apparently, we're not allowed to call it the MP, but yeah. Jay is a raccoon man, shiny objects. I do like my chrome. Back in the day when manufacturers made things nice and shiny. Tyson says swing speed is 95 miles an hour. My miss is low. So I wouldn't get the CB then. If your miss is low.
Yeah, and that 95. I mean 95 and low is where I'm at. So, and I wouldn't pick the CB.
The Pro S3's got better.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily pick the S3 either, but that's anyway.
Well, they're the choices.
You missed bogey, go for it.
Did I? What, for the P790, P770?
Yeah.
I would say P770. personally.
I mean, at 90, there's absolutely no benefit to the 790. Maybe they should swap them around, and like the P770 should be for 70 miles an hour, and the P790 should be, you know, what I'm saying, swap the numbers.
Yeah, isn't it because the P770 is 77 mil in its length, in its head length, and the P790 is 79.
And I mean, the 770 is a hell of a forgiving club. Low
it's
strikes,
brilliant.
toe strikes. Not so great off the heel, but...
No, but then, nor is P790 really. Same tech. Or similar, or very, 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 very similar tech. The great thing with tailor-made for the P770 point of view, absolutely that the P770 is a fairly unique golf club in itself. Not many manufacturers make an equivalent of that P770. They don't. I mean, how many manufacturers do you know that make effectively a smaller version of their player's distance? It'd be like Mizuno making a small version of their Pro 245, although their Pro 245 is already fairly small. But you kind of get the idea. Ping making an i530, but a smaller version of their i530. They don't. Not many manufacturers do. Wilson don't. Cobra have obviously an interesting one because of that Cobra 3DP. That kind of takes not only just the interesting thing with the Cobra 3DP is it's a great thing for Cobra, but it also kind of, if it wasn't for the price difference, it would completely trample on their King Tech.
There's no point to it. If you could get them at the same price, there'd be no point to the other one.
Yeah, and this is the thing, it is a very, very good golf club. But I would personally say P770.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the 790, it's 90 miles an hour with just a standard, D-loft. So like 180 something yards, 181 yards.
Too far for me. Neil says, US Open always want the tournament to be won around par. They do. They kind of absolutely, completely take away the fun. Did anybody see Phil Mickelson's, we can't really call it a chip-in. It was the most outrageous, because it wasn't in the bunker. He was up on the verge of the bunker. He was up on the front lip, we'll call it a lip, and he hit this, I mean, it's a layer, the shot that he hit, you could see he was going for it as well. It will, the problem is because it's live, so it won't get the coverage that it deserves, but there are reels of compilations, the footage of different people throughout the years that have made an amazing golf shot happen. Tiger, there's plenty of. And really, that shot that Phil Mickelson did should be in those. I fear it won't, because obviously it's live. But there you go. Brian says, have a question about choosing grip size. I'm at the top of standard and bottom of mid-size, trying to figure out if it's better to skew, thank you, larger. Okay, so grip size absolutely, completely and utterly is personal preference. Have you tried the +4s? That's my next question. If you +4s are designed to sit in that basically standard top hand but a slightly thicker bottom hand. I play, my spec is +4, standard +4 with 2 wraps of tape, just a fraction thicker than standard, and that's what I like. So rather than going mid-size, where it can be quite a distinct jump between standard and then mid-size, quite distinct, tinker around. I am in the +4. Now, in that case, add some tape. You can add some tape.
I would look at it. So the traditional grip,
go mid-size,
fitting your fitting your grip, right? Is your fingers should just touch the thumb pad, right? When you got your hand around it.
Sorry, stop there a minute. I just have to say this.
What?
Every single time I introduce myself online, ever, I say, hi guys, Jay Smith here. Welcome to the AskGolfNut channel, or something of that nature. My name is not Jay, my true name is Jason. We know this, I know this, I have dealt with it for the last 46 lovely years. Why, even though I keep calling myself Jay, and I don't like Jason, do people, when they comment, still call me Jason and then feel that they're going to get a response? I have just seen a comment come through on my phone. It drives, yeah, this kind of response. It drives me mental when people call me Jason. I don't like it, and that's why I call myself Jay. For the love of what's holy, people, now don't, if not, your comments are all going to get deleted. If you, from now on, Jason. But, oh, sorry, mate.
I thought you were like interrupting me to complain about how I was demonstrating grip. But no, yeah, so if the grip is supposed to be so your fingertips just press into your thumb pad, and so if you've got finger pain, right? If you can't do this shape without pain, then expand your hand until you stop feeling the pain, and then figure out what that extra gap distance is, and that's going to tell you what size grips. Because that's what you're looking for, is to not have any pain when you're at the right shape for the grip. So.
Oh, you can't see it.
That's not going to work.
Jason, is it possible to swap shafts between the original Mizuno STZZ and the STZZ 230? Reason for asking is I've just ordered the STZ 230 and like the Fujikura shaft on my original STZZ and might want to swap it into the new head. Tom, 5216. Let's guess that your name is Thomas, even though you have written Tom. So I will now reply to you using Thomas.
Wow, touched a nerve. All right.
Yep. There you go. So, oh dear me, I don't understand why it's going to be difficult. I don't understand where they even know, apart from the times I actually say that my full name is Jason. I don't understand where people get it to know that my name isn't Jay, because I don't call myself or reference myself anything other than Jay in any platform at all.
If somebody could post that they hate your swing and you think you should give up golf, and you'd be less worried about it, that comment than this comment.
Yeah. Right. Let's get on to daft comment of the week, because I'm in a roll, right? Hero says Thomas has got into Jade. Yeah, definitely he's got on my. Yeah, it wasn't Thomas's fault. It was Thomas's fault. Poor old Thomas. Right. Div of the week, dun dun dun, div of the week, dun dun, div of the week. Right, so every so often I get.
Exact comment, right? Jason.
Yeah,
Jason's always going to be.
Get that one on here quick. I get a barrage of comments from time to time from different people. 99% of the comments that I receive are good, nice, polite, not always complimentary, because people have difference of opinion, and I'm happy for people to ask questions and query and all these things. I'm happy for that. I like that, because there's an opportunity, because I'm not saying that I know everything. It's just that if people do it in a respectful way, it allows people just to read it, and without any kind of inference whatsoever, they can look at it and go, analyze it, think about their answer, properly think about the question, and there's a potential for either side to learn. But you do get some dicks sometimes, and unfortunately, here we go. So I'll try and make sure this doesn't, because I've got this on a slideshow, so hopefully I've got the right buttons. Bro, let's start this one off, shall we? You're hilarious. Well, you can see my reply underneath, but sheesh, I have never heard somebody sound like the crying while hitting every green. What you can't even type. So bro, needs a wrong you're hilarious. Sheesh. Okay. I have never heard somebody sound like the crying. What? While hitting evergreen. So I just replied, hey bro, it's your hilarious, and I'm having to decipher what comes after. If you're going to comment and also comment something not necessarily productive, at least put some effort into the grammar first. Sheesh. That's the kind of stuff you get sometimes. But it's a bit of fun. Div of the week, div of the week, div of the week, div of the week.
The guy only sees the shots that you actually put in the video. He doesn't see them 20 shots that you missed.
Absolutely. He doesn't see me warm up. My word. That's bad. Oh, wrong one. There we go. So this is from the Temu video. And if everyone has seen the Temu video, what I'll do, Andy, is just for your benefit on this one, and because obviously I don't want to get rid of your wonderful face. There you go. Sorry, I can put it in the middle, really, can I? So if anyone remembers the Temu video that I did nearly a year ago, it's doing actually quite well. 200 and something thousand views at the moment. So obviously people are interested in it, which is good. Now, I think it was clear in that video, if anyone can remember, that I was clear that you pay your money, you take your chance. There is very little in the way of the same amount of experience you're going to get if you buy these properly. However, and the ones that I received are as good as the real thing. But that's not saying that every single one of them will. You might buy the same thing and get an absolute just shocker of a set. I think I was clear enough. However, this person says, so basically you're condoning the destruction of a company that has spent millions in technology, innovation and jobs. Nice work, loser. Obviously didn't listen to the entire video, which is what is common actually. Wasn't it? Didn't we have one, Andy, a week ago or so, that someone said something, blah, 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 but obviously didn't listen to the video, because once we said, yeah, but if you look at this bit, it was actually said, and they went, oh yeah, I must admit, I went off half-cocked. I kind of started commenting before I finished watching.
Yeah, so he apologized, so he didn't make Div of the Week.
No, and that's the thing. He was quite open to say, look, like, my bad. I was like, yeah, I kind of went a bit early, and it's a common fault. So yeah, there we go. So the next one, I'll move that up a little bit for you. There we go, or like that. Not too much, but there we go. So this was for the Temu video. And I really don't understand this. This one, I think, actually made it into the members section of Discord. But this, what is his name? Yeah, we'll just take the first 4 letters of his username, and that explains necessarily the type of individual that I think he is. If you don't know how to place a shaft, how to replace a shaft, you shouldn't play golf. Same for grips. Right, so what we'll do, guys, Andy, I hope you're keeping track of these comments. Let's just have a quick... Andy, you're a bad example, because if I ask you, do you know how to replace shafts and grips, you will be saying...
Yes.
Yes, right, okay. You and I, again, I am not the correct person to ask, because I have done it, like, a lot. So we are not the typical... in any way, shape or form, golfer. I would hazard a guess, right? Absolutely hazard a guess, and I think I'll be darn pretty close to being right, that 75%, 80%, heck, 90% of golfers have got no clue on how to change shafts ever. I would say, yeah, 60%, 2/3 don't even know how to change a grip. But they don't need to, because that's what you got your pro shop for. That's what you got your driving ranges for. That's what you've got these kind of shots for, to do it for you, so you can concentrate on just enjoying the blooming game, because you pay a bloody enough to actually enjoy it.
I mean, it depends. Like, how many times you're gonna do it in your lifetime? Once or twice? Like it's not
Well,
worth buying the
shafts.
tools and learn. Yeah,
Um,
buying the tools, learning.
how many times have you said to me, and quite rightly so, talking about changing shafts out, and you think, hang on a minute, with the cost of shafts and some of these shafts, you might as well bought the blooming things again anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, dear me, people, for the love of all that's holy. And so, anyway, I replied. I said, hey, bro, want to get involved.
No,
I want to sort of like, talk in the same language.
That's not the right one.
Is it not? Oh, damn it. Hang on a minute. 1, 2, 3. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Right. So exactly right. I'm agreeing with him, right? I'm getting down with this. Exactly right. If someone doesn't know how to replace a dual mass flywheel on a car, then they shouldn't drive. Don't even get me started on the people doing DIY and not being able to build a house.
Today's video, if anybody watching today's podcast is going to assume you had a really rough week and you just burn out of patience.
No, it's just divs. Honestly, how on earth can someone honestly think that the average, normal, everyday weekend golfer that just wants to enjoy their game after a very hard, boring day at work or week at work has to understand how to change a grip, how to understand how to change a shaft, or no. Like, wowzers. There you go. So that was the section div of the week. Div of the week, div of the week. Hope everyone enjoyed it. Let's have a look at the comments. Carl, you're going to get banned soon. Jason the grammar Nazi. Ira says, Jay, for the wedges, do you like them with soft feel like you do with your blades, or does it matter? I like soft feel. But bearing in mind, I would have a wedge feel literally like putty, plasticine if I could, but you have to remember, I get my wedges fairly frequently changed, and for the vast majority of golfers, something like a ping wedge, which is made out of the same kind of material that, I don't know, also, was it unobtainium or whatever it is? They don't wear. They don't feel, a lot of the time they don't feel very good when it comes to certain things with ping, but they do wear extremely well. That's why you still see sets of I2s around, because they just wear very well. But I mean, honestly, go with what you want. I prefer a soft feel, so yes, I do choose a forged wedge. Vokies do fairly well because they're cast, and they're fairly durable, generally speaking. But Andy, what about you?
Like, if the feel of the wedge is my own, if that was my only concern, I'd be happy.
I'm about to say, you don't have wedges. If someone says to you, Andy, for your chipper, do you like the feel of a soft or a hard chipper? Or does it matter? You'd say, would you say a soft or a hard feeling chipper?
Yeah, I don't know what it does.
Dave's in the house. Hello, Dave. Hope you're well. Hello, Jay and Andy. Have you decided what the best game improvement irons are for 2025? No, because as yet, there are still more to come. We do have all the Titleist T series irons to come anyway. And then also, lucky for me and my back pocket, we have the new ones coming in August or September. So that'll be another trip down to Debit Card Alley. Right, there's a bit in this last video that I've just done, I think it's a T150 video, where I have managed to sneak in OnlyFans. Don't ask, but it's in there. So until that happens, we'll probably do one, Andy. I reckon we'll do one at the end of the year when everything has been released. Probably, what would you say? October time's a good time? possibly.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's about when we did them last year. Most of the clubs were out then. There wasn't anything really that was coming. I mean, you get the same problem though, that since some clubs came out in January, February, and you could argue that some of them might have offset the ones for. I mean, from the yeah, but
Cobra might be out in December again, so their new whatever it be will be out in December again. And of course, I will treat anything in December. I'm going to treat as 2026. Neil says, no, hang on. Oh yeah, Neil's like, Carl, you're spending your sympathy account with Jay really fast. Absolutely. He's lucky that he's not well.
I mean, did you say that there's one to beat so far this year, right? There's a club, the best game improvement to beat so far this year.
It's an interesting one because I still think ZX4, not i4, ZX4. I still like that.
I mean, you put the 95 HMP in the game improvement section.
Yes.
If that's a game improvement iron, that's the best game improvement iron of the year.
Of this year, absolutely. Doesn't the ZX4 beat it slightly?
Yeah, in just overall forgiveness, but the 95 goes further, it spins more. It's just a better club.
So, if it was that, yes. And to me, it's the only one that Mizuno should make. I don't understand at all why they even make the standard hot metal. The hot metal Pro looks nicer, cleaner, performs better, more forgiving. It just works better. The only reason I can see that Mizuno still make the standard hot metal is for the golfer that wants to look at more offset, thicker top lines, slightly bigger blade lengths, that kind of, they want real estate. That's the only thing I can think of, because the Hot Metal Pro does everything better. There you go. I might as well just stick it on to chat questions on the last little one there and just keep reeling them off. I won't lie, guys. I don't want to be on for an hour and a half tonight. I have been up now for quite a while. 19 hours already? Had a bit of a disturbed night. So I'm looking forward to trying to get some sleep at least before I then have to go at editing again. Right, we are caught up now. All gone now. Eero says, I know how to purchase shafts and grips. Purchase, yes. Fit them, might be two completely different things. No, I had to do it myself. There you go. Has any productive discussion ever started with, hey bro? I'm not, I don't, no, probably not. Hey bro is definitely not a UKism. But there we go. Eero says, the Titleist testing has finally broken, Jay. I used to go off, so I don't know if I've still got them on my content listing. But back in the day, talking to 2018, 2009, 2018, when I used to do more as in other live streams as well, I would have a little rant and I would just not lose it, but I would just get on my soapbox and have a rant about something. It was quite funny. Carl says, funniest AGM podcast ever. Just get me going. That's all it is. I just get me going until I run out of breath. Andy is driver hybrid putter. Andy is driver hybrid putter for his bag. I don't think you are.
As in, I only have a driver, a hybrid, and a putter.
No, you're probably, if anything, I would say your driver hybrid 8-iron and putter 9-iron.
9-iron. 9-iron.
Yeah, 9-iron. There you go, 9-iron putter. That's it. That's all he needs. Eero says, can you reveal the space material in the Mizuno driver yet? Not yet, but I do know for a fact that the conforming one that people saw was a prototype.
Non-production model.
Yeah, so it may look slightly different. Carl wants to know a link to Jay's OnlyFans account.
No,
Not
thank
earning
you.
much money, honestly. It will literally be, it's the classic golf terms, isn't it? And it'll be like, oh, look at my shaft, and stuff like that, wouldn't it? It would literally be as comically infantile as that. Yeah, so there we go.
I mean, it's like that guy who created, you couldn't get something, YouTube was screwing him over with his monetary, just like they do everybody else, but YouTube was screwing him over with his money. So he created a Pornhub account and did his channel, his math, he was a math teacher, and he was teaching math, and his channel was on Pornhub, and he got millions of followers on Pornhub. He was making more money being on Pornhub than he was on YouTube.
Wow. That's a way to do it. I'll stick with what I'm doing for the moment. It's all right. Name Withdrawn says, were those Vice starter set bundles hollow distance clubs? No, they weren't. No, they were serious undercut cavity. Like the biggest undercut cavity. If you wondered, I don't know if you've ever got to the golf course and wondered where to put your change. Got your like bits of money and stuff like in your pocket, and you're looking, trying to get it in your bag and stuff.
Your wallet. You keep your wallet in the back of it.
Absolutely, you could keep your. You could probably get your, I don't know, your spare tire in your car. In those, that was a big thing. I mean, that works exceptionally well. Joking aside, they are a little bit fugly, from my perspective. They are big. They are fairly offsetting.
You can't argue with it though. What do you expect for $300 total? Like most people pay more than that for a driver, and the old drivers are still ugly.
Yeah, but the thing is, if they have to be pound for pound the best golf clubs on the planet.
Easily.
Pound for pound. That not only do they perform really very, very well, they are pretty forgiving considering, and the driver is really good. And how much is that? If the whole thing is that dirt cheap, how much are those golf clubs? And really, if you can get a driver that is obviously that cheap, why on earth are we spending the amount of money that we do on drivers? Like, really? There you go. So Vice, you've done very well.
Some of us spend a lot more money on drivers than others. I mean, I haven't spent money in driver in a decade yet. Hero's spent that 3 times that in the last month.
Ah, but Hero's a magpie. He loves anything that's not even shiny. He doesn't care if it was owned at one point by someone, or he can own it himself at any point. He will buy it. He loves it. And he loves his golf, and it's great, and it's lovely to see. But he does need to calm down a bit. I'm stopped taking responsibility now for anything that when it comes to purchasing from Hero. It's not me. Bo Golfer said, would you take the ZXi7 over P770? I'd take the feel of the ZXi7. Oh, that's really... That's a really... Do you know what, Bogey Golf, that is a brilliant, brilliant compare. I'm stuck on that. That's a really, really good one. I'm not certain.
ZXi7.
What do you think? It's a really good one.
I mean, it's over the new 7s.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to come down to, it's solely down to just shape, isn't it? The looks of it, like they're identical otherwise, performance-wise.
I would have the P770 because I don't necessarily like the busy look of the Shrixons. The Shrixon is very angular. It's nice. It's got very, very nice shapes and very thin top lines, and sole thicknesses are fairly thin and stuff like that. It does look a really very, very nice iron. It's just, for me, it's a bit angular. It looks like someone's designed it with literally only a ruler. They've got no other thing other than a ruler. The P770 is more blade-like in its looks. And I like that more than I do. There you go. Iro says, do you measure your hybrids and woods for carry or total? All depends at the point of where non-functionality is determined. So if you feel that if you get to a point where you're transitioned from your irons into your hybrids, and then as soon as your hybrid goes into a green and it has no capacity to stop, you're past the point of where carry is the important thing. Carry is the important thing when you know where you need to effectively stop the golf ball or have a reference point for that golf ball. There's no point in having that reference point for that golf ball if the finish point for that golf ball is 40 yards down the road, apart from if you are needing to carry something. But we are most of the time talking about using these things to go into a green or something like that. Yes, there's time off a tee that you need to do a forced carry over a bunker or a body of water or something like that. Yes, but I would say as soon as you stop going into a green with something with a modicum of control, you then need to transition into total, because then that becomes the denominator of whether you are or how close you are going to get to the green. But bear in mind, measuring something off total is a complete and utter, because you're relying on bounces, you're relying on ground interaction. Good luck on that one.
Yeah. I mean, I think, I mean, pretty much all my clubs up to the stretch 3 wood are going to stop within a green distance anyway. So I just look at the carry at the front edge of the green. If I know that my carry's somewhere near the front edge of the green, I'm probably stopping on the green. And that's what I look at then. So instead of, with a regular iron, I'm looking at, the midpoint or the actual flag as my distance, because my irons are going to stop within a yard or two. But with anything in higher than the, like, say, even my 5 hybrid, I'm probably playing like that. I'm aiming at the flag distance. But the 4 hybrid, the 3 hybrid, the 3 wood standard and the 3 wood stretch, I'm looking at front green yardage as my target for the club, and I'm picking the club based on the front green yardage.
So how would you change your understanding of it if I now took 15 mile an hour club speed away from you overnight? How would you then start to have to readjust your bag setup, or how you at least consider or think about your yardages with your current setup?
Yeah, I mean, I would instantly, the stretch 3 would no longer be functional, because it would carry significantly less, because it'd be way below the flight window. Like, the carry would drop significantly. My old carry would probably be my total after a lot of rollout, and that rollout could be cut in half easily by a back bounce or thick turf.
Absolutely.
So yeah, the woods would definitely become more of a total. The hybrid probably still would be carry.
Yeah, because you're playing a 5. So if you started playing 4s and 3s, you would definitely, in the 3 would have to go into total. 4, that's going to be touch and go. I still think that might end up going total. But it's an interesting point, just that one there, how people are going to be listening. And obviously I swing my 7-iron around about 91 or so miles an hour. Andy, you swing it around about sort of 95 or so miles an hour. So we are definitely up in the top percentage of swing speed players. And so most people, and we're talking about the pyramid, we are closer to the snow on top than we are down at the bottom. Most people are down the bottom. And so they can't appreciate when we start talking about certain things. They've got no concept of that whatsoever. So that's why that point was so relevant, because it does make you then think about how would you then look at your own bag if you had 15 mile an hour automatically taken away. And you could go even more than that, because I mean 15 miles an hour, that's still 80 miles an hour with a 7-iron, and that's still a half decent speed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what irons I would play. I don't know what irons I'd play. I mean, I'm already playing the 5 hybrid. I'd probably be like 6 hybrids, the 7 hybrid.
Yeah, and it's a good
I
idea.
mean, like I mean, I play the hybrid for because it's more functional. Like
Yeah.
I mean, what my swing speed for the 5
Yeah.
hybrids like 99, maybe
And
maybe
it's
100
just
plus.
going up.
I mean, when I absolutely crush my 6 iron, I've hit 100. Um, so yeah, the 5 hybrid can definitely just come over 100.
I've hit 100 miles an hour, or just over 100 miles an hour with my 7 iron. You don't want to see me swinging though at that point. That is me literally everything at it. No chance of striking it anywhere close. I mean, I'm lucky if I even hit it, just to get like a capture from the quad to see how fast I swung. It's not pretty, but there you go. Right, anyone else have any other questions? What is the question of the day? Well, I think to be fair, Iro, you did that on your, do you measure your carry on your hybrids or woods or total? So we kind of backwards engineered it a little bit on the basis of what happens if you were to do the same question but then reduce the swing speed, and it would be no different to me. 3 woods would have been out. If you take 15 mile an hour off me, I'm now not using 3 wood. 3 wood is completely non-functional to me whatsoever. I would have to then go to 5 wood, and I would test that to see if it's got any kind of functionality whatsoever. I'd still keep with the hybrids. I would dump my 5 iron straight away, and I would absolutely go get a 5 hybrid, possibly even 6 as well, and play 7 to wedge in irons and do that. I would have to potentially change my irons as well, because obviously with my loft gaps being smaller because they're traditionally lofted, then you take 15 mile an hour off me and those distance gaps between irons are now going to get bunched. And I'm not got my 13 yards anymore. I'm going to start getting 9 yards or so. And to me, 9 yards, that's getting quite close then to merging. And so I will need to potentially change irons. There you go.
It's interesting because I prefer my irons to be short, shorter than standard, and I play them flat. If anything, but then the hybrids, 5 hybrid shaft is longer than would be longer than a 5 iron. So,
yes.
I generate a lot more club head speed with that. But it's weird. You would think, we're losing, because I'd be worried about losing that much speed as in saying, okay, I'm going to pick like fairway woods, with longer shafts than hybrids to get the club head speed back up. But I can easily see the fairway woods being a problem for me because of my swing shape and being flat. Preferring them to be flat.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. That's question of the week. There we go. Right, well.
Question of the week.
No, yeah. Right, well, I hope everyone enjoyed that one. We'll have. I'll keep an eye out for the next lot.
Hiding around the corner. He doesn't want to be banned.
He's all right. He's fine. Right, guys, thank you very much for watching. Appreciate it as always. Thank you to Andy for taking time out to spend it on the podcast with us. Appreciate all your chats, all your comments, all your different things to get me going and get me on my soapbox and having a rant. Another rant will probably come again next week, especially depending on what kind of div of the week we get when it comes to comments, but we'll see. Anything else from you, Andy, to finish? Anything at all?
No.
No, good.
No.
And nothing on the chat. We're all good. It's all good fun. Right, guys, thanks very much for watching as always, and we'll catch everyone. Don't forget, T150 coming tomorrow, Tuesday. Obviously, it's Monday night. There you go. Thanks for the giggles, guys. You're welcome, Carl. Don't worry.
Banned.
Thanks for joining on. Yeah, hashtag banned. And we'll see everybody again soon.
Take it easy.